Hey everyone, today I'm back with another foundation review. I actually heard about this on other YouTube videos. It's really getting a lot of hype on the internet at the moment. I saw this in one of the Taylor's foundation reviews and I knew that I had to pick it up. This is the Dermacol Make-Up Cover Foundation in the shade 208, which is their palest shade. They do have a shade 207, but this one is actually paler. Don't ask me why they did that because I have no idea. I have had this for a little while now and I've gathered a few thoughts on it, but before I get into that I'm going to show you how I like to put it on my face. So I've already put some primer on and now I'm just going to take the smallest amount on the back of my hand. So I'm going to start out with about this much. This foundation is very highly pigmented and it's a very thick texture. You really don't need a lot of it. It's always better to start out with a small amount and then add a little bit more if you need it, because you'll need considerably less than you think. I've applied this in a few different ways in the past. When I first got it I used the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge quite a lot. I've just got a damp one here. I do really like that, but recently I've been using their buffing brush for it and I think I kind of prefer that. So I'm going to put it on half of my face to show you before and after. So as you can see, it's made a really huge difference. This foundation has some serious coverage. That was just one layer and I didn't even put that much product on my face, but it's already evened out my redness quite a lot. So I'm just going to do the same on the other side. I wouldn't call this an everyday foundation. You can probably just see for yourself by the texture and just by how much I'm working it in, but it is quite high maintenance. And just in my personal experience, it doesn't really stay looking this good throughout the day. It does start to break down after a few hours. So this isn't something that I wear all the time. I usually put it on when I'm filming a video, which is what I'm going to be doing today after I've done this. And I really like it for filming videos because it just makes everything look so flawless. So that's a really light layer all around my face. I'm just going to build it up now in the areas of redness. So I'm just taking the product directly onto the brush and then tapping it on. So as you can see, the coverage is really good, but it does require a lot of work, a lot of blending. I am going over areas multiple times just to make sure that it's really kind of meshed into my skin. Hopefully you can also see that there is a bit of a dewiness to it as well. I haven't put any powder on or any highlighter or anything like that just yet, but I've definitely got a little bit of reflection going on, but you might want to keep that in mind if you've got oily skin. I'm just layering it on some areas of hyperpigmentation. This particular foundation actually is really difficult to build up. Most people probably won't need to build it up that much because it is quite high coverage, but for me, because I have so much skin redness, I usually build up pretty much every product that I use. I'm also going to take a much smaller brush from Real Techniques. This is their detailer brush, and just dab it into the product. And then I can just use this brush to target areas of breakouts on my chin. You don't need a separate concealer with this foundation. It's so high coverage that it can do both. So that took a bit of work, but we're here now. As you can see, the coverage is amazing. It has really evened out everything on my skin. I've also used it as concealer on my blemishes and just a little bit in the corners underneath my eyes where things get a bit pigmented under there. And it's done a really good job of covering up everything. I'm just going to finish the rest of my makeup and then I'll get back to you. So the rest of my makeup is on now and you can probably see why I love wearing this foundation when I'm filming videos. Everything just looks really perfected and flawless, absolutely perfect for filming. Now that I've put some setting powder on top, that's really taken down the initial shine that the foundation has, so I feel a lot more comfortable with the finish. I did go a bit to town with the highlighter today. That's just the mood I was in apparently. But yeah, everything looks really good. It did take a lot of work to blend it in and to get it to this point, but it is worth it because it looks amazing. So I'll tell you a little bit more about this. I found this on eBay. It was I think about £8 to £10. Definitely not too expensive. I could only find it on eBay myself. It's not the sort of thing that you can just walk into Superdrug and get which I think is why I hadn't heard of it before I saw it popping up on YouTube. As you saw in the demonstration, a little goes a very long way, so I feel like this tube is going to last me a really long time. I've had it for months and it still feels pretty full, like the same when I got it, because you only need a little dot. Sometimes I don't even wear this as a foundation. Sometimes I just wear this as a concealer because it is so high coverage that it works really well for that. So I'll just wear like a really light coverage foundation all over my face, and then just use this to target areas that are really pigmented, areas of breakouts, that kind of thing. I do really like this foundation. I just don't think that everyone is going to need it. It's a bit too much effort for an everyday basis, and I wouldn't trust this for special occasions because it just doesn't last for very long. It looks beautiful now, it looks flawless now, but I'm going to do another check-in in a couple of hours and then I'll show you how it wears on me. On me it does tend to break down after a few hours. It goes even more shiny, which on me is quite unusual because I've got very dry skin, so I'm not really used to that, and it does start to break apart a little bit as well. So because it's a lot of effort to put it on and because it doesn't last for very long, it's not something that I wear a lot. I love it for filming because I just need it to be on for a few hours. If you just want something that you can throw on every single day, this is not going to be the product for you. However, if you either have quite a lot to cover up for whatever reason, or if you are also someone who films videos and just want something to wear while you're filming, this might be something that you might want to get, especially if you're a bit of a foundation hoarder like I am and seem to just accumulate quite a lot of foundations. Another thing I do want to say is that the shade is absolutely spot on. I'm incredibly pale, I've got red hair, a lot of foundations do look quite orange on me, even the ones in the lightest shade in the selection, but this one is absolutely lovely. So from what I've said so far, you can decide for yourself if this is something that you want to rush out and buy. I don't think it's for everyone, but I do think that some people are really going to like this. Anyway, I've got a few other videos to film, but after that I'm going to check in with you and just show you how it's worn on me. Anyway, the setup's going to be a little bit different next time I see you, but I will check in a few hours. Hey everyone, so it's actually been about 2.5 hours. In that time I have done this setup and filmed 2 videos, hence the change of shirt. With the distance between us now and the lights around me, everything probably looks perfectly fine over there. I'd happily film another video looking like this. This is fine to me. But once you look close, you can see that it has started to break down just on areas like my chin and around my breakouts. That's where I tend to layer the product because that's where things get quite red, and obviously there's loads of spots there as well. So that's where it's starting to break up a bit, and I can see that there's a little line forming on my chin. I was quite sparing underneath my eyes because I know that this particular foundation does crease a bit under my eyes. It has creased a little bit, but because I was quite sparing with the product, it's not creased as badly as it has done in the past. Another thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that this does generally feel like I'm wearing makeup. Some of the foundations that I own, they can feel quite light and they feel like they are letting my skin breathe a little bit. Not this one. This one is a bit full on. You'd expect that for the amount of coverage that you're getting, but just be aware of that it does feel like you're wearing makeup. And also, if I touch my face at all, I do get the product coming off on my fingertips. It's not something that's designed to be long lasting. It's so high coverage that this is something that I tend to go to when I'm having a really bad skin day. It covers them up absolutely beautifully, but I usually find that the day after I've worn this, my skin doesn't really look great. So that's just my personal experience with it. I find that it doesn't really wear very well, and also it can lead to more breakouts, which is personally why I don't actually wear it for very long periods of time. I think that's everything that I wanted to say about this foundation. The shade match is perfect, the coverage is amazing. If you've got hyperpigmentation, if you've got acne, or just anything that you want to cover up, this foundation could be amazing for you. However, it is a bit of a faff to work with, and I personally don't like to keep it on for very long, so that's just something to keep in mind. Either way, hopefully this review has been helpful for you to help you decide whether you need this in your collection or not. Let me know in the comments section below if you own this foundation, if you like it, what you think of it, or if there's any other foundation that you would like me to review next. Let me know that as well. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next Sunday at 9 AM. Bye!